Something shifted, quietly, almost imperceptibly, and yet, within royal circles, it didn't go unnoticed for long. Because sometimes, the most important moments aren't announced. They are implied, suggested, or, in some cases, carefully placed. And lately, when it comes to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, there is a growing sense, at least among royal watchers, that timing is no accident. It often begins the same way: a wave of difficult headlines, questions, criticism, speculation building in the background. And then, something new appears. A gesture, a post, a carefully framed moment that shifts the spotlight, even if just slightly. Coincidence? Possibly. But some observers believe there may be more intention behind it. If you look back, this pattern becomes easier to trace. If you are enjoying this video and want to see more updates and insights, don't forget to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest news and discussions. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this story. There was a moment not too long ago when Meghan made her return to social media, a platform she had stepped away from for quite some time. When she came back, it wasn't subtle. It was polished, personal, designed to reconnect. Images of warmth, affection, a glimpse into her life with Harry. One particular post, shared on Valentine's Day, quickly drew attention. A moment of intimacy, simple on the surface. But its timing raised eyebrows for some. Because around that same period, public attention had been heavily focused on the work and presence of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. And that raises a quiet question. Was it simply a personal post? Or part of a wider effort to redirect attention? In the modern media landscape, visibility is power. And for public figures, especially those who have stepped outside traditional royal roles, staying visible can be essential. But that wasn't the only conversation happening behind the scenes. There has also been growing discussion about influence, and whether it translates into real-world impact. With millions reportedly following Meghan online, expectations were high. From a business perspective, particularly for major partners like Netflix, the numbers seemed promising. A large audience suggests potential, reach, opportunity, but turning attention into action is something else entirely. And according to various reports, that transition hasn't always been as strong as anticipated. There were stories, widely shared, about impressive product success, claims that certain items had sold in remarkable numbers, generating significant revenue. But many began to question those figures. Some suggested the narrative may have been enhanced. Not unusual in the world of branding and public relations. After all, perception can shape reality, at least for a while. Still, it added another layer to an already complex picture. And just as those discussions began to settle, another headline emerged. This time, it centered around King Charles III. Reports began circulating that during an upcoming visit to the United States, there might be an opportunity, a window of time, for the king to meet privately with his youngest son. At first, it sounded hopeful. A quiet reconciliation, a step forward. But as quickly as the idea gained traction, questions followed. Because when you look at the logistics, the reality becomes far more complicated. Royal travel is not spontaneous. Every movement is planned with precision, security, diplomacy, timing. A detour for a deeply personal meeting would require more than just willingness. It would require alignment on multiple levels. And according to many observers, that seemed unlikely. So why did the story gain so much attention? Because sometimes, the idea of something is just as powerful as the thing itself. It invites conversation, speculation, hope, and in doing so, it keeps the narrative alive. But behind all of this, there was another moment, quieter, more personal, that may reveal even more. During a previous visit to the United Kingdom, Prince Harry did spend time with his father after months apart. It wasn't a long meeting, but it carried weight. Because beyond the conversation, there was a gesture. He brought with him photographs, images of his children, moments captured far from public view. For a grandfather who has had limited contact, those images would likely hold deep meaning. But what makes this detail particularly interesting is what came next. There were reportedly two sets of photographs, one intended for the King and Queen Camilla, and another meant for his brother, for Prince William and Catherine. But according to those familiar with the situation, that second set may never have been received. And that's where the story begins to shift again. Because behind that gesture, some believe there may have been a deeper intention. Not just sharing family moments, but opening a door. There has been quiet speculation, unconfirmed, but widely discussed, that Prince Harry may have hoped for something more. A response, a reaction, perhaps even a gesture in return, a phone call, a message, something to signal that the distance between the two brothers might not be permanent. But nothing came. And in royal terms, silence can be very loud, especially given the history, public interviews, personal revelations. A best-selling memoir that included deeply private details, including reflections on Queen Camilla and others within the family. Moments that, for some, may have crossed a line. So when silence follows, it carries meaning. But then, another layer emerges. Because according to some royal insiders, there may have been a broader vision behind those photographs. An idea that goes beyond the present and looks toward the future. It involves the next generation. More specifically, a potential image, symbolic in nature, featuring Harry's son alongside William's eldest, Prince George. At first glance, it seems simple. Two cousins, a family moment. But within the structure of the monarchy, such an image would carry significant weight. Because Prince George represents continuity, stability, the future of the crown. And being visually connected to that future could subtly reshape public perception. It could suggest unity, reconciliation, a bridge between two sides of a deeply divided story. Of course, it's important to say, none of this has been officially confirmed. These ideas remain within the realm of speculation and interpretation. But the possibility itself reveals something important. In today's royal landscape, narrative matters as much as reality. Every appearance, every absence, every image, all of it contributes to a larger story. And sometimes, the most powerful moves are the ones that never fully happen, but are talked about as if they might. Because that keeps people watching, listening, wondering. And perhaps that's where we are now. Caught between what is real and what is being suggested. Between genuine attempts at connection and carefully timed moments that shape perception. So what should we believe? That these gestures are sincere efforts to rebuild something broken? Or that they are part of a broader strategy, one that understands exactly how attention works in the modern world? The truth, as always, may not be simple. It may live somewhere in the space between intention and interpretation. But one thing remains clear. In a family where history, duty, and public image are inseparable, even the smallest action can carry extraordinary meaning. And sometimes, it's not the gesture itself that defines the moment. It's what follows. Or in this case, what doesn't. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more updates and insights, don't forget to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest news and discussions. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this story.